I'm Zane. Welcome back to the beauty. Where in the world are you? Comment now. If my boss had sent a normal text, I would have said no. Instead, at 5:37 p.m., just as I was shutting down my computer, my phone buzzed with 4 simple words. Need help with shelf. It was from my boss, Elena Voss. The same Elena who could make a whole floor go silent just by walking past the glass wall of her corner office. The woman who ran Voss Capital like it was an extension of her will. Before I could even react, another line appeared. I will owe you. I stared at the screen. I was a senior analyst, not a handyman. But everybody at the firm knew I worked with wood on weekends in my tiny Chicago apartment. Tables, shelves, small pieces. I even had a walnut coffee table as my laptop background. That was my mistake. I told myself to be smart, to set boundaries, to remember that my promotion review was next month and my mom in Ohio was counting on every extra dollar I could send home for her medical bills. Instead, I typed back. Address. She sent it right away. A townhome in Lincoln Park. Not the glass high-rise everyone imagined. A real street, a real front door. Then another message. Come now if you can. I could have ignored it. I could have said I had plans. I did not. So I grabbed my jacket and my old toolbox and headed out into the cold. The sky was low and gray. A light snow had started, the kind that made the city feel softer and quieter. As I walked up the stone steps to her brownstone, that old knot of worry twisted in my stomach. Boundaries. Help with the shelf. Go home. That was the plan. The front door opened before I could knock. Elena stood there barefoot on dark wood floors, in black jeans and a soft cream sweater that made her look more like a normal person and less like the sharp woman in tailored suits I saw every day. Her dark hair was down around her shoulders instead of pinned back. Hey, Liam, she said, like I came over all the time. Where is the shelf? I asked. Her mouth curved in a quick smile that did not quite reach her eyes. Inside, she said. Come in. The first thing that hit me was not dust or cardboard. It was the smell. Roasted chicken, butter, garlic, lemon. Real food, warm and heavy in the air. Then I heard voices deeper in the house. A man and a woman talking in low, easy tones. I stopped just past the entry, my boots on the rug. You did not say you had company, I said. Her hand touched my arm, just for a second. Light, almost not there. I needed you to actually come, she said under her breath. If I told you the whole thing, you would have said no. The whole thing? I asked. Before she could answer, a woman's voice floated in from down the hall. Elena, honey, are you at the door? Your father wants to carve before it gets cold. Elena's fingers tightened on my sleeve for a brief second. Yes, Mom, she called back. Then she looked at me, her voice lower. Please, just walk with me. Do not argue here. I could have turned around. I should have turned around. Instead, I let her lead me down the hallway toward the dining room. The room looked like the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened. Long oak table, linen runner, candles that were actually lit. A painting of a lake in early light hung on the wall. 2 people sat at the far end. Her father I knew from the company annual report. Daniel Voss, founder. Silver hair, broad shoulders, presence that filled a room even when he was not speaking. Her mother I had never seen, but I knew her the second she looked up. The same sharp cheekbones as Elena, softer eyes, perfect lipstick. Both of them turned their gaze on me at the same time. Mom, Dad, Elena said, her voice bright and careful. Thank you for waiting. I wanted you to meet someone from the firm. Her hand slid down my arm until her fingers caught mine. It was not an accident. It was a grip. My heart kicked hard in my chest. This is Liam, she said. Then she added, clear and strong. He is my boyfriend. The word slammed into me. Boyfriend. My toolbox strap slipped off my shoulder. Her father's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. You are what? He asked. Elena did not look at me. She kept her eyes on her parents, chin lifted. My boyfriend, she repeated. Her mother's gaze swept over me. Work boots. Black t-shirt under my coat. Calloused hands from weekends with wood and tools. I did not fit this table, and we all knew it. How long have you two been seeing each other? Her mother asked. Every warning bell in my head went off at once. HR policy. Power imbalance. All the reasons this should never happen. Under the table, Elena's fingers tightened around mine. Just enough for me to feel how fast her pulse was racing. Long enough for him to be here tonight, she said. I could have laughed it off. I could have said it was a joke. I could have let go of her hand and walked out. Instead, I pulled out the chair beside her and sat down like I belonged there. Evening, Mr. and Mrs. Voss, I said. Thank you for having me. There was a long beat of silence. Then Daniel set his fork down, wiped his mouth, and studied me like I was a number on a screen. What do you do at the firm, Liam? He asked. Senior analyst, I said. Infrastructure side. I built the model for the Baxter deal. He nodded once. Good work. Elena speaks well of you. That was news to me. Her mother poured me wine without asking if I wanted any. Elena does not usually bring people from work home, she said. Especially not men. We thought you would bring Marcus. The name made Elena's jaw tighten. Marcus is a partner, she said. Liam is my boyfriend. The second time she said it, the words sounded different. Less like a trick and more like a line she had decided to draw. Dinner felt like a test I had not studied for. Daniel asked where I grew up, how long I had been at the firm, what my parents did. No, sir, my dad drives trucks, I said. My mom is a nurse. So you are the first one in your family in this world, he said. Yes, I answered. Big step. It is, I said. Her mother asked if I liked the city, if I had siblings, if I had big plans. Every question was soft on the outside and sharp underneath. The whole time, Elena did not let go of me. Her hand on mine under the table. Her knee pressed against my leg. To anyone watching, we looked like a comfortable couple. Inside, my mind was racing. Why me? Why now? Why this lie? After dessert, when coffee came out and the plates were mostly empty, Daniel leaned back and looked right at me. So, Liam, he said, what would you say is your long-term plan with my daughter? The room went quiet. I felt Elena go still beside me. When I looked at her, she finally met my eyes. There was a spark there, tight and scared and angry all at once. Help me. That was what her eyes said. I took a breath. My plan, I said slowly, is to make sure Elena has options. Daniel's brows pulled together. Options for what? Before I could answer, Elena stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. Dad, can I steal Liam for a second? She said. She did not wait for a yes. She grabbed my hand and pulled me out of my chair, down the hall, and into a small room off the kitchen. She shut the door behind us. It was a pantry, lined with dark shelves and the faint smell of spices. Elena braced her hands on the counter and took a shaky breath. I am sorry, she said. I know I blindsided you. I know this is wrong. I just did not know who else to ask. I set my toolbox down. My heart was still beating hard. What is going on, Elena? I asked. Why did you tell your parents I am your boyfriend? She reached into her sweater pocket and pulled out a folded sheet of thick paper. She pressed it into my hand like it was heavy. Because of this, she said. Read it later if you want. The short version is simple. She lifted her eyes to mine. They want me engaged to Marcus by the winter gala, she said. If I do not play along, I lose more than my job. How much more? I asked. My name, she said. My shares. The work I have built for 10 years. My future. She pressed her lips together, then spoke again, softer. I know this is insane. I know I lied to you. If you walk out now, I will not chase you. But if you stay, even for one night, I need you to be exactly what I told them you are. Her voice shook on the last words. My boyfriend. I stood there in that tiny room, paper humming in my hand, her eyes on mine, the low sounds of dishes and voices drifting from the dining room. My job, my promotion, my mom, HR rules, all of it rushed through my head. Then my chest settled around one clear thing. Okay, I said. Then I am your boyfriend. Her eyes widened. Liam, you do not have to. I know, I said. I am choosing it. Her shoulders dropped like she had been holding her breath for days. Some of the panic left her eyes, and something new came in. It looked like hope and fear mixed together. Thank you, she whispered. I slid the folded paper into my jacket pocket. It felt thick and heavy. I will read this later, I said. Right now I need one thing from you. Her brow pulled together. What? Do you want this? I asked. Not the lie. The fight. Do you actually want to push back against them? Or are you just trying to stall until they get their way? Her jaw worked. For a second, she did not look like my boss. She looked like a daughter who had been told all her life that the path was already chosen. I want out of this, she said. I do not want to marry Marcus. I do not want him in my house or my life. I just did not know how to say it without losing everything. That is enough for me, I said. Then we start here. Tonight we make it look real. A small surprised smile touched her mouth. Are you sure you can act? She asked. I stepped a little closer. Her back bumped a shelf. We were close enough that I could see a tiny freckle near her left eye. I had never noticed it in the office. I am not going to act, I said. I am just going to treat you the way you should have been treated from the start. Color rose in her cheeks. She let out one slow breath, then nodded. Okay, she said. Come on, boyfriend. Time to face my parents. We walked back into the dining room hand in hand. Her mother's eyes dropped to our joined fingers first. Then she looked at my face with a new sharpness, like she had moved me from guest to problem in her mind. Her father refilled his coffee, his jaw tight. Everything all right? He asked. Yes, Elena said quickly. Liam was just telling me about his plans for us. It was my turn to improvise. I pulled her chair out and waited until she sat. Then I sat beside her and let my arm rest along the back of her chair, not quite touching her shoulders. It was a quiet claim without grabbing her. I was telling her, I said, looking at her father, that I am not rushing her into anything. She has enough pressure from work. She does not need more from me. Her mother lifted one eyebrow. So you are serious, she said. This is not some office crush. No, ma'am, I said. I care about your daughter. I want her to feel safe. That is the only thing I am sure of right now. Under the table, Elena's hand slid to my knee, not gripping, just there. Her fingers curled in the fabric like she was anchoring herself. Daniel took a slow sip of coffee. You know what this family has built, he said. You know what it takes to keep it standing. I see the numbers, I said. I see the people who work late. I see Elena carrying more than her share. His eyes narrowed just a little. And what do you carry? He asked. My work, I said. My mom's bills. My own name. He studied me, then shifted his gaze to Elena. Have you thought about what this does to the optics of the merger? He asked her. There it was. Not feelings. Not her happiness. Optics. Elena's chin lifted. Yes, she said. I have thought about it. I have thought about it every day since the term sheet landed on my desk. And I will not tie my life to a man just to make a slide deck look good. If the merger needs a fake engagement, maybe it is not as strong as you think. The room went very still. I was not supposed to speak. I spoke anyway. With respect, I said, if investors only trust numbers when there is a ring on your daughter's finger, maybe they do not understand where the real value is. Catherine's lips pressed into a thin line. Daniel's eyes flashed. You have opinions, he said. I have eyes, I replied. Elena gave a tiny huff that was almost a laugh and turned it into a cough. Her mother put her napkin down like she was ending the session. We will not discuss business at the table, Catherine said. Not tonight. She stood, smoothing her dress. Elena, help me with dessert, she added. Elena squeezed my knee once under the table, then stood and followed her. Their voices faded. Into the kitchen, too low to make out the words. That left Daniel and me alone. He leaned back and folded his hands over his stomach. You understand this will not end at dinner, he said. I figured, I said. If you hurt her, he added, voice quiet and flat, I will end your career in this city. No shout, no drama. Just a simple fact from a man who had the power to do it. If I hurt her, I said, I will walk out on my own and you will never see me again. But I am not the one pushing her toward a man she does not want. His jaw ticked. You think Marcus is a bad choice? He asked. I think Marcus enjoys power more than he respects people, I said. That landed. His eyes flicked toward the kitchen and back. For a second, I saw doubt there. Maybe small, but real. Elena and Catherine came back with plates. Dessert happened. Coffee cooled. The rest of dinner was polite noise over a crack in the floor. When it was finally over, Elena walked me to the front hall. The house felt heavy and quiet. I am sorry, she said again, voice low. They were not supposed to push that hard tonight. What did you expect? I asked. They are parents. They test things. I survived. She gave a tired little smile. You did more than survive, she said. You pushed back. I shrugged. That part came free, I said. Now, about that shelf. Her eyes widened. Then she laughed, soft and surprised. You still want to fix a shelf after all that? She asked. You texted me about a shelf, I said. I like to finish what I start. She shook her head, but there was real warmth in her eyes now. Come on, she said. Upstairs. She led me up to a small room that looked half office, half library. One wall was bare. A box set of floating shelves sat on the floor next to a level and a drill she clearly had not used. I bought these 3 weeks ago, she said. Never found time to install them. Good thing your fake boyfriend knows his way around a drill, I said. Her cheeks warmed at the word fake. Mine did too. I opened the box, checked the anchors, measured the wall. She stood in the doorway with her arms folded, watching. As I worked, I felt some of the tightness leave her shoulders. You do this on weekends? She asked. Build tables and fix things. Yeah, I said, checking for studs. Would make sense. Numbers do too. But would listens faster. She smiled a little at that. When did you start? She asked. When my dad hurt his back, I said. He could not fix things around the house anymore. Somebody had to step up. She watched my hands as I drilled and leveled and anchored the brackets. You do not flinch, she said suddenly. At what? I asked. At my father. At Marcus. At this whole mess, she said. I drove in the last screw and wiped my hands on my jeans. I flinch in private, I said. In front of people who want to scare you, I do not give them that gift. I set the first shelf on the brackets. It sat clean and level. There, I said. Use that space for whatever you want. She stepped into the room and ran her fingers along the smooth wood. I might put photos here, she said. Ones I actually like. She turned to me, closer now in the small room. The quiet shifted from tired to charged. Liam, she said slowly. About that paper in your pocket. Will you read it tonight? Yes, I said. And if you think it is too much, she went on. If you think I am asking you to stand in a fire you did not start, you can walk away tomorrow. I will not blame you. My chest tightened. What if I do not want to walk away? I asked. She held my gaze, all shields down. Then we have to figure out how to win, she said. I left a few minutes later. She walked me to the door, even though she looked tired to her bones. The snow outside was falling heavier now. In my car, under the street light, I finally unfolded the paper she had given me. It was not a dinner plan. It was a confidential memo. Voss Capital Governance Structure Post-Merger. I read every line twice. There it was, buried near the bottom. In the event that Elena Voss is unable or unwilling to fulfill a public engagement to an approved partner by the date of the Winter Gala, her voting rights transfer to a trust managed by Daniel Voss and senior partner Marcus Hale. My stomach turned. It was clean legal language for one simple threat. Say yes to Marcus in public or lose control of your own company. At the bottom, in a different font, one more cold line. Undisclosed reputational concerns will be considered in evaluating fitness. Someone had given themselves permission to use her personal life as leverage. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. We should talk about boundaries. It was from Marcus. His text sat on my screen like a warning. I thought about HR. I thought about my job. I thought about Elena upstairs in that house, her parents in the next room, and a man like Marcus waiting to cash in on her life. Then I locked my phone, started the car, and drove home. I did not sleep much. In the morning, I was at the office before sunrise. At 7:12 a.m., Marcus walked into my doorway like he owned the floor. At 7:12 a.m., Marcus appeared in the glass doorway of my small office like he was just passing through. Perfect suit, perfect hair, fake friendly smile. Liam, he said. Early as always. I saved my spreadsheet and leaned back in my chair. Morning, I said. He shut the door without asking and sat on the edge of my desk, too close, like we were old friends. I saw a photo of you last night, he said. Looked like you had a nice dinner. So he already knew. That did not surprise me. Is that a problem? I asked. He tilted his head, studying me like I was a bug under glass. Elena is a key piece of a very delicate transaction, he said. Optics matter. Her personal choices matter. You mean her dating life? I said. He smiled. It did not reach his eyes. I mean everything, he said. Investors like stability. They like a certain kind of story. It is my job to make sure we give them that. It is not your job to control who she dates, I said. His smile faded just a little. You think you understand this world because you can build a model, he said. You do not. You are a smart kid from nowhere with calluses on his hands. Congratulations. You worked hard, but you are in over your head. He leaned closer. His voice dropped. Walk away, he said. And whatever this is with Elena. If you do, you keep your job. You keep your nice little promotion path. You keep wiring money to mom in Ohio. You get to hold your place. And if I do not? I asked. He shrugged lightly. Then you become a risk, he said. And risks get removed. I will not even need to do anything. The market does not like uncertainty. He thought he sounded like logic. To me, he sounded like a threat in a nice suit. You running side deals a risk? I asked. For the first time his eyes flickered. Careful, he said. I saw the memo, I said. I know about the clause. I know about the trust. I know you are trying to push her into an engagement so you can hold her voting rights. His smile slipped. You think you have the full picture? He asked. You do not. What you have is a crush on your boss and a seat at the kids' table. He stood and smoothed his jacket. Last warning, he said. Do not bring a hammer to a gunfight. He walked out. I sat there for a long minute, breathing slow. Every instinct told me to run straight to HR, or to Daniel, or to anyone who could blow this open. But Elena had lived under this pressure for months. She knew who the board trusted. She knew how fast the firm could close ranks around a partner like Marcus. If I moved without a plan, they would just paint me as a jealous employee who could not handle his feelings. She would take the hit. So I did what I knew how to do. I collected data. Between meetings, I pulled every internal document my clearance allowed. Governance notes, draft merger terms, old memos, expense trails, meeting logs, performance reviews. I did not hack anything. I did not cross security lines. I just looked where I was allowed to look, harder than anyone else bothered to. Patterns started to appear. Marcus' name next to special advisory fees. His signature on side agreements. A string of off-site meetings at fancy hotels with no minutes filed. On those same days, a few numbers in the ledger twitched in ways that did not match what we presented to investors. By noon, my eyes burned. My phone lit up with a message from Elena. Conference room B at 1. Bring your lunch. I grabbed a sandwich from the break room and went. Conference room B was small and looked over the river. Snow flurries hit the glass, making the city blur. Elena was already there, suit on, hair tight, boss mode back in place. But when the door shut, some of the steel in her shoulders loosened. You look like you got hit by a truck, she said, opening her salad. Marcus paid me a visit, I said, sitting beside her. Of course he did, she muttered. What did he say? That I should walk away, I said. That if I stay, I become a risk. Her fork stopped halfway to her mouth. And, she asked. I told him I do not take orders from people who hide their deals, I said. A small, proud smile pulled at her mouth. Good, she said. I pulled a folder from my bag and slid it across the table to her. I started digging this morning, I said. Nothing illegal from my side. Just patterns from what I can see. She wiped her fingers, opened the folder, and flipped through the pages. Dates, hotel bookings, strange fee lines, a simple timeline I had started scribbling in the margins. You did all this since this morning? She asked. Yeah, I said. He is not subtle. He is just used to nobody checking his math. Her eyes moved faster. I watched her brain shift into high gear. If this is what I think it is, she said slowly, he is not just trying to control me. He is lying to my parents and to investors. Exactly, I said. They want stability. He is selling them a fake version of it. She drummed her fingers on the folder. This is not enough to take to a regulator, she said. But it might be enough to make my father listen. You trust him? I asked. She thought for a moment. I trust that he cares more about the firm than about Marcus, she said. I do not trust him to care more about me. That hurt to hear, but I could see it was true. You should not have to fight this alone, I said. Her gaze softened. I am not, she said quietly. You are here. The words were simple, but they hit deep. We spent the rest of lunch building a cleaner story. She circled dates. I wrote notes. We made a timeline in plain language, no drama, just facts. When I stood to leave, she reached out and caught my wrist. Liam, she said, after work, can you come by my house again? No parents this time. I need to talk without walls listening. Yes, I said. There was no part of me that wanted to say no. The rest of the day moved slow and heavy. Every time I passed Marcus in the hall, he gave me a thin smile like he knew everything and nothing at the same time. He did not know exactly what I had. That made him dangerous. At 6, I left the office. The air outside was sharp and cold. The snow had turned into a light, steady fall that dusted the sidewalks. Elena's townhome was a short train ride and a walk away. My heart beat harder with every step up her stairs. This time I knocked. She opened the door in leggings and an oversized college hoodie. No makeup, hair twisted up with a clip. She looked younger, softer, and somehow stronger than she did in a suit. Come in, she said. The house felt different without her parents. Warmer, quieter. The dining room lights were off. Only the kitchen and the small back living room were lit. She led me to the kitchen table. My folder from lunch was there, open. Next to it was another folder, thicker. I called my lawyer, she said, sitting down. Not the firm's. Mine. She pushed the new folder toward me. Inside were more documents. Her employment contract. Her share agreement. A fresh draft of the merger with notes in her handwriting along the edges. We found the same clause you saw, she said. And 3 more places where Marcus' language does not match what the board approved. So he has been sliding in his own terms, I said. Yes, she said. And he has been using my supposed reputational risk as the excuse for needing more control. She took a sip of water instead of wine. That alone told me how serious she was. I have a plan, she said. But it is going to make things worse before they get better. I am listening, I said. She met my eyes, steady. I am going to let the boyfriend story stand, she said. I am going to bring you to the winter gala. I am going to make sure everyone sees that I am not with Marcus. Then I am going to drop this in front of my father and the board when they care the most about the numbers and the cameras. That is a lot of pressure on one night, I said. I know, she said, which is why I am asking you clearly now. She set her glass down. This does not just put my career on the line, she said. It puts yours there too. If this goes badly, Marcus will try to drag you down with me. People will whisper. Future employers will see your name tied to drama. You might have to start over. I thought about my tiny apartment, the money I sent my mom, the hospital bills, the small savings I kept for emergencies. Then I thought about Elena sitting here alone, with parents who saw her more as an asset than a daughter, and a man like Marcus ready to sign his name over her life. I can live with starting over, I said. I cannot live with watching him own you. Her shoulders dropped, like a weight slid off. You are sure? She asked. Yeah, I said. I am not here by accident. I am here because I choose you. The words came out before I could pull them back. They hung between us, bright and heavy. Her eyes widened. Color climbed into her cheeks, slow and deep. You choose me, she repeated. I do, I said, my heart pounding but my voice steady. Not as a prop, not as a project, as a person. She stood up, walked around the table, and stopped in front of me. Liam, she said softly, the first time I saw you, you were arguing with a spreadsheet at midnight in the conference room. Marcus laughed and said you were too intense. My father liked you because you reminded him of himself at 25. I liked you because you did not look up when they walked by. You were too busy getting the numbers right. She lifted her hand and placed it flat on my chest. My heart thudded against her palm. I do not know how this ends, she said. I only know I do not want to stand in that room without you. I covered her hand with mine, fingers closing gently around hers. Then you will not, I said. We spent the next hour planning. Clothes. Timing. Where we would stand. Who would come up to us. What we would say if people asked questions. It sounded cold when we laid it out like that, like a battle plan. But every time our fingers brushed over papers or reached for the same pen, the space between us warmed. At one point she yawned, sudden and unguarded. You should rest, I said. Big fight coming. She walked me to the door. The night outside was darker now. Snow had settled on the steps in a thin white layer. At the threshold, she stopped. Liam, she said. One more thing. Yeah. I asked. At the gala, when people ask how serious we are, she said, watching my face. What are you going to say? I thought about the easy answer. That we were seeing where it goes, that it was new, that it was private. Instead, I told her the truth. I am going to say, I said slowly, that I am not going anywhere unless you tell me to. She blinked hard. Her throat moved as she swallowed. I am not going to tell you to go, she said. I nodded once. Then we are serious, I said. For a second, I thought she might kiss me. Her hand lifted like she was going to touch my face. Then she dropped it and stepped back. Good night, Liam, she said softly. Good night, Elena, I said. As I walked down her steps into the cold, my phone buzzed again. Marcus, see you at the gala. I slipped the phone back into my pocket. Yeah, I muttered. You will. The night of the gala felt like walking into the last level of a game where you only get one life. The hotel ballroom was huge and bright. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, tall glass vases full of flowers that probably cost more than my rent. People in black suits and expensive dresses moved in little circles, laughing like nothing serious ever touched them. I adjusted my tie in the lobby mirror. I was not used to tuxedos. I felt like a kid wearing someone else's clothes, except this tux fit because Elena had texted my sizes to the rental place herself. Then I saw her. She stood at the top of the wide staircase that led down to the ballroom. For a second, everything else faded into noise. She wore a deep green dress that hit just above her ankles. It was simple and clean, no glitter, no crazy details. It just fit her. Her hair was half up, the rest loose around her shoulders. She looked strong and steady and a little scared. When her eyes found mine, some of that fear melted. She walked down the stairs slowly. "You clean up well," she said when she reached me. "So do you," I said. "You ready?" "No," she said honestly. "But I am going in anyway." Her fingers slid into mine. My heart calmed a little. We stepped into the ballroom together. Heads turned. Conversations paused for a beat. People looked at us, then looked quickly at the bar where Marcus stood with a drink in his hand, like he was posing for a magazine cover. He saw us and smiled. It was sharp and tight. "Elena," he said as we got closer. "Liam. What a surprise." "He got the email," Elena said calmly. "His name is on the guest list." Marcus' gaze dropped to our joined hands. His jaw flexed. "Optics," he said. "Interesting choice." "My choice," Elena said. Before he could answer, another voice joined in. "Elena." Her father appeared at her side. He wore a tux that fit perfectly, but he looked older tonight, somehow smaller. Catherine stood next to him, face composed and cool. "Can we talk alone?" Daniel asked, eyes flicking to me. "No," Elena said. "We will talk, but not alone. Not anymore." His jaw tightened at that, but he did not argue. Before anyone could say more, the MC tapped the microphone on the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "if you could find your seats, we will begin with a short update from the Voss family about the upcoming merger and the future of the firm." The room started to shift toward the tables. It was like watching a tide move. Daniel leaned in. 15 minutes, he said to Elena. "We go up there in 15 minutes. Whatever you brought, show it to me now." Elena looked at me. I reached inside my jacket and pulled out the slim folder we had prepared. "We need somewhere quiet," I said. Daniel nodded toward a side door. "In here." We walked into a smaller lounge off the ballroom. Low chairs, a bar cart, dimmer lights. Catherine came in with us. Marcus slipped in too, uninvited. "That said enough. Get out," Elena told him. "I have every right to be here," Marcus replied smoothly. "I am part of this leadership team." "Then you can listen to the truth," I said. I put the papers on the small table between us. "Here," I told Daniel. "Hotel bookings you signed off as strategy sessions. Here, the same dates tied to strange advisory fees. Here, draft contracts with language that does not match what the board approved. And here," I tapped the memo with the engagement clause, the part where you use Elena's personal life as a lever. Daniel picked up the pages. Catherine read over his shoulder. Her hand went to her mouth for half a second before she hid it. Marcus laughed once, too loud in the small room. "This is nothing," he said. "Loose patterns and guesses. You bring your boyfriend and a few printouts and think you have a case." "It is not just guesses," Elena said. "I had my own lawyer look at the contracts. These are not simple drafts. These are edits you push through under pressure and never truthfully explained." Daniel's eyes moved to the bottom of the last page. There, in plain language, was a short note from Elena's lawyer about possible internal investigation and regulator notice. His face changed. Fear, then anger. "Is this true?" he asked Marcus. Marcus spread his hands, playing injured. "Of course not," he said. "This is Liam trying to protect his golden ticket." Elena let herself get too close to her employee. Now she is covering it with a story. He turned to Catherine. "Think about the headlines," he said. "Daughter mixes romance and risk. Father looks away. The board will not like it. The market will not like it. The only way to stop this is to show she is under the influence of someone beneath her. We can still fix this if we act now." He said it so smoothly that for a moment the room tilted. He was good. He had done this before. Then Catherine did something I did not expect. She stepped between Marcus and Elena. "Stop," she said. Marcus froze. "So did I." "Robert," she said, eyes still on Marcus. "The pattern is clear. He has been treating us like marks, not partners." "Catherine," Marcus started. "No," she said. "You have been pushing our daughter toward an engagement while hiding your own mess under her name." Her voice was calm, but every word cut. Daniel straightened. "The internal team will review this tonight," he said to Marcus. You will hand over every file they ask for. If you fight them, we will assume guilt. Marcus' smooth mask finally cracked. I built this firm, he snapped. You would be nothing without me. You built numbers on paper, I said quietly. Elena has been keeping real deals alive while you played with shadows. His eyes burned when they landed on me. You, he said. This is you. He took a step toward me. I did not back up. I did not raise my hands. I just shifted my body, so I stood more clearly between him and Elena. You put a target on me when you threatened my job, I said, voice steady. You tried to scare me off. You are not the only one who knows how to follow trails. For a second, it looked like he might hit me. His right hand curled into a fist, then dropped when the door opened again. The head of internal compliance stood there with 2 senior staff behind him. Daniel, he said, we need to speak with you and Mr. Hale before the announcement. Daniel looked at the folder in his hand, then at Marcus. We are done here, he told Marcus. He turned to Elena. I was wrong, he said. The words looked heavy in his mouth. We will fix this. And for what it is worth. I am sorry I made you feel like you had to lie. Elena did not rush to forgive him. She just nodded once. Thank you, she said. They left with Marcus and the compliance team. The door closed. The air in the lounge felt weirdly light and heavy at the same time. Elena sat down hard in one of the chairs. Her hands were shaking. That just happened, she said. Yeah, I said. Marcus is not going to walk away quiet, she said. I know, I said. But now he has to fight more than just you. She leaned her head back and stared at the ceiling. You stayed, she said after a moment. You really stayed. I sat on the low table in front of her, so we were eye level. I told you, I said. I am not going anywhere unless you tell me to. Her eyes shone, but the tears did not fall. I am not going to tell you to go, she whispered. A knock sounded on the door. Catherine stepped in alone. For the first time, she looked unsure. Elena, she said, you do not have to come on stage. We can handle the public part. Elena stood. No, she said. I will be there. I am not hiding. I am also not standing next to Marcus while you pretend everything is fine. Catherine nodded slowly. Fair, she said. Her gaze moved to me. You are the analyst from the Midwest, she said. The one who fixed the model in October. Yes, ma'am, I said. You are also the man my daughter brought to dinner and called her boyfriend without warning, she added. Yes, I said again. She studied me for a long second. Then she gave one small, almost invisible nod. Good, she said. She needed to pick someone who does not scare easily. A tiny, almost shocked laugh slipped out of Elena. Did my mother just give us her blessing? She asked when Catherine left. Kind of, I said. In her own way. On stage, the announcement changed. Instead of a shiny story about perfect mergers and bright futures, there was a careful statement about a temporary adjustment in leadership and a full internal review. No names were said, but everyone in that room was smart enough to put the pieces together. Marcus did not come back into the ballroom. The band started up again. People drifted to the bar, to their groups, talking in low, excited voices. The real party was the gossip, not the music. Elena and I stood near a tall window at the back of the room. Outside, snow fell in slow sheets. City lights blurred behind it. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Which part? I asked. Saying yes to dinner, she said. Letting me throw you in front of my parents. Standing up to Marcus. All of it. I thought about my bank account. My mom's bills. How my name would sound in certain rooms now. Then I thought about Elena's face when she said, you stayed. Not for a second, I said. She turned fully toward me. In that case, she said, I should probably stop calling you my fake boyfriend. My heart jumped. Okay, I said. What are you going to call me instead? She took a step closer. The light from the window made her eyes look darker and softer at the same time. My boyfriend, she said. Without the trick. She reached up and straightened my bow tie, fingers brushing the skin of my neck. Her touch stayed, warm and light, like a question. Is that all right? She asked. I slid my hands to her waist, careful, giving her room to move away if she wanted to. For me, I said, that is better than all right. She smiled. A small, real, unguarded smile. Then she rose on her toes and kissed me. It was not some movie scene kiss with music swelling and people clapping. It was warm and steady and honest. Her fingers curled in my jacket. My hands held her close, not tight, just enough to let her know I was there. When we broke apart, I rested my forehead against hers. After tonight, This will not be simple, she said softly. I do not want simple, I said. I want real. She let out a slow breath and nodded against my chest. Then that is what we build, she said. Weeks later, the fallout settled. Marcus was gone. Official statements used words like misconduct and breach of trust. The merger went on under new terms. Elena got a formal seat on the board with real power and no strings on her personal life. My promotion got delayed, then came back in a different shape. New title, new pay. A few people treated me like I was dangerous for a while. I could live with that. On a quiet Saturday, I sat on my old couch in my small apartment. The smell of coffee came from the kitchen. Elena walked out in my faded t-shirt and leggings, holding 2 mugs. She curled up beside me, tucking her feet under my leg like it was the most normal thing in the world. My parents are coming to dinner next week, she said. Here, I asked, looking around at my mismatched furniture and one struggling plant. Here, she said, smiling. No contracts, no tricks, just dinner. I told them they can bring dessert if they want to feel important. I laughed. You going to introduce me the same way? I asked. Drop the boyfriend word like a bomb. She set her mug down and leaned into my side. No, she said. This time it will not be a trick. It will be the truth. She turned her face up to mine, eyes soft. This is Liam, she said quietly, like she was practicing. My boyfriend. The man who stood between me and a man who thought he owned my life. The man who chose me when it cost him. My chest tightened. And the man who is not going anywhere, I added. She smiled, slow and bright. Exactly, she said. She laced her fingers with mine. In the end, my boss did trick me into dinner at her place. But I was the one who chose to stay.
If this story stays with your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you.